Hello, Jim.
Got it? Right. Can you all hear me? We are busy doing skill number 4 in the Grow Pro program. And it's talks about following up. You all know, yes, of course you know, the fortune is in the follow-up. Do you all follow up? Question yourself. Follow up. Yes, it's following what you're supposed to do. If you're meant to phone somebody, it's in your diary at a specific time, then you jolly well do it. We all get excited 1 minute and then go missing in action in the next. Don't take action in the wrong direction. Stay focused. Run your business through a physical or an electronic calendar. Keep a diary. Very, very important. People will respect you when you keep your word. Always be punctual. People respect a person who values their time. And I honestly quote John Cunningham. And Debbie, I'll see you smiling in a minute. Because if John says, I'll pick you up at a certain time, and you're not there, he'll wait a few minutes, and then you see the dust. He does respect his time because he's a leader.
10 minutes.
You must get people to respect your time. 10 minutes, yes. Dusted. If you're not there, tough tacky. Now, when you're following up, you actually have to expose your business. And you set up the next exposure. What am I talking about? Well, if you interview somebody, if you're doing it physically, then make sure you've got a boyo. Do you remember the boyo? Do you know what a boyo is? Business of your own. It's a folder. And in that folder, you've got whatever pertains to the person you're speaking to, but definitely a lifestyle magazine, a product brochure, and if the person's got health, well, you know the person that you want to in your business must be personal. So in your bio, you give it to them, and the goal is to get the prospect on the first exposure. You don't necessarily have to have them signing up because they don't always do that, but you want to see them again. So you set up the next exposure. The prospect will eventually become educated on the opportunity and be able to make an informed decision. Several steps to set up the next exposure, meaning your follow-up call, your next appointment. When you make that call, you're going to ask them, did they actually review the material you sent home with them? If they say either no or yes. But if they say no, for goodness sake, don't be rude and show them that you, by your body language or your tone of your voice, that you're upset. We all get a bit disappointed. So it's actually not very good to set this whole thing in a negative manner. If the answer is no, as I mentioned, it's very important not to show your displeasure. That's not building up a good relationship. Response should be, it's perfectly okay. I understand. We are very, very busy. But when will you be able to, for sure, look at this information I gave you? Set up, that's your next exposure. Set up a time and get the commitment using whatever positive language we all can use because we've been trained so well in the Eagle team. I really believe we have positive mindsets. And then what's in your head comes out in your mouth. Out of your mouth, I mean, not in. So if the material has been reviewed, and then what did you like best? The question takes you then into a positive direction, will give you clues of their level of interest. If they say the product, well, the next exposure, obviously, is to show them the products. And of course, don't forget the product comparison. It is very important. So then if they say financial freedom, well, then obviously it's opportunity related and you can show them the compensation plan and take it from there. Now we all get these objections. The goal is to educate and get understanding, never to win an argument. Negative questions, objections are actually very good because they expose the blind spots and it helps you to eliminate them. Don't get negative. A question will be asked and then you'll say, how long do you want to really know the reality of life? You actually have to change if you want to change your future. No, that's not the way to go. A much better approach would be to relate, as John told us on Saturday, relate your story. If they don't have money, then you say, this is John Cunningham, I had exact same challenge. And I know exactly how you feel because do you know, as Debbie mentioned, we actually used to sell Coke bottles at the end of the month. So I know exactly how it is. I really do understand. So I had that same challenge. And you know what? I'm here to help you change your future. I also feel for you because that's where I was. But this business opportunity has changed my life, changed the lives of our families. And you know what? You can leave a legacy if you build it. It is an amazing business opportunity. And then the negative comes in. Oh, is it multi-level marketing? I suppose, yeah, it sounds like a pyramid scheme. Well, I would like you to study, go back and hear what Sean had to tell you, and you'll be able to confront the situation because knowledge is power. So if they say multi-level marketing, just say, what, have you been in multi-level marketing before? And they say, yes, I didn't have time to do this. So let them tell you their story. It opens them up and lowers their defenses. So do you think multi-level marketing was the problem? You mentioned you didn't have a lot of time. Do you think maybe the timing wasn't right for you? And then you speak into that situation. Pyramid scheme. Well, Neolife has been around for 63 years. And the person who works gets the pay. So, because the person under you can actually overtake you, that's a good answer. I think Sean mentioned that on Saturday. But do study Sean's talk. So, they say, I don't want to bother my friends. But you mentioned, yes, it's such a negative world. I understand what you're saying. People don't want to be bothered. But the good thing is, this business is good news. You can share good news with your friends. So they say, well, how much money are you making? And remember Charlie saying, well, say, you wouldn't, no matter where you are in the business, if you're earning 10 Rand a month, you wouldn't believe how much money I'm earning. So for things to change, we all have to change. I know things change for me. If I didn't do something about my situation, so this is how you approach people, by being positive all the time and listening to what they have to say. Tell stories about people in the business. That's why you have the bio, and John taught us that as well. Open up the pages and share the people who are successful. And then you can set up another conversation. And then you can actually ask them to phone successful people. I know John and Debbie will always, especially with, they've been there, done that, so they can actually advise. So they are the successful people that you may phone. I know that they're open, they're willing to help your new prospects. So it's quite awkward when you say, oh, I've got a business for you. People get intimidated because they have been working for a boss all their lives. And if they're in their own business, they think of all the challenges. So it is up to you, step by step, to set up more opportunities, more meetings with them. Make sure you do it quickly. Send them a video that same week. Send them a three-way talk. Send them all kinds of information. And did you know, there's a page here that I need to share with you that I actually had written. Another question to ask them, on a scale 1 to 10, where do you see yourself? If it is a 7, 8, or 9, that's the green light. Then you can schedule the next exposure because they are now interested. Never finish one exposure without setting up the next exposure. So if the people are now very negative because you said, well, what do you think? Yeah, I need time to think. I'll think about it. And they'll think and think and think, forget about it. That is the wrong question. This is what you should say. I want to know what you liked about this business. And then it sets you in a positive mode. Did you know that it takes 4 to 6 exposures before the person might even sign up? And if you're using the social media, it can take up to 15 exposures. Set up exposures, less pressure for the prospect, less pressure for you to educate, give understanding, and more exposures, the stronger the relationships are. So if the person says no, get excited because you're getting closer to that yes. I'll stop here to give other people a chance to have their input. Is Jenny there?
Well done.
Not
Hello.
there. So has anybody got something to say about their experience with follow-ups? And do they do them? I know, I've lost a lot of people because it was a confidence thing, but you just, yes, Jenny, just do it. Do the Nike thing. Yes, Jen, what have you got to share about follow-ups? I'm now going to do the teacher thing because people don't always want to volunteer, so I will pounce on you. Yes, Jenny Potter, what have you got to say about follow-ups?
Very, very important that if you say you're coming back at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, you phone them at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Don't ignore them. Make a calendar or a diary note of it on your to-do list or wherever, and make sure that you can honor that meeting. So don't set up a meeting and not go. That's very, very important. And be positive about it. And as they say, the only reason for an exposure is to make another exposure. Just keep it, don't push them. Just keep contacting them and asking another question. That's what I got out of this chapter.
Yeah,
good.
I'd just like to add something. Sorry, Jenny, you finished?
Yes, Debbie?
Yeah. Also, the other thing that we always do in one of the exposures is that we show them the products. So you go to the kitchen and you do the whole den. with the cleaning products. Then I always turn to the person. I'll say, right, you've seen the products, you've seen the plan. Are you wanting to build a small business or a large business? And then we wait. And this is where sometimes I've got to kick John because he comes in and I just wait until they give me an answer. And if they say a small business, I say that's fantastic. That's just by using the products, that's fantastic, and share with a few people. That's great. They say a large business, and he says, let's go, and John will show you how to get the large business. And then John goes and he does the whole plan.
And as we heard on Saturday, and Charlie does it, we all negligent if we don't do this, is to carry the products in the boot of your car. So anytime, anywhere, you've got all that at your fingertips. And if you're showing the products, I find this is where I get a lot of business, is that price comparison, especially the washing powder. So, Sean, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, I need a bigger boot in my car because I've always got my bags with me. A few years ago, we had a presentation of some sort up in Durban, and I think it was Roger that was there. And they gave us they sold us a demo bag. One side was designed for the product, and one side was designed for the literature. And that lives in the boot of my car permanently. And the number of times I've been able to either do a spontaneous demo or do give out a sample of LDC or Super 10 is that bag has come to my rescue on more than one occasion. I have to debate whether I've actually got space for it to take it up to Bloemfontein with me or not. I'll see when I pack up the car, but I often have to move that around when I'm carrying work stuff around, because it literally takes up half the boot of my car with the things that I've got there. Well, it's always got to be prepared. And yes, with the diary follow-up, I am quite bad about that. I am improving on that. I don't carry a hard copy diary with me, purely because I've never gotten used to carrying an extra book with me. So my diary is there. It's electronic. And I often say my phone is virtually my life. And occasionally I use it for phone calls because my price lists are there. My information is there. My GPS is there. My address book is there. My TNL is there. When you ask me questions, those answers are often in my phone. I'm busy scrambling madly to get it to send it off to you. And that's my diary as well. I've got a diary for home. I've got a diary for family. I've got a diary for work, and I've got a diary for business. It's all there at my fingertips at any given time. But I do sometimes rely on my failing memory too often to chase up, because yes, I will follow up and I don't, and that has been a downfall. But when I'm doing it properly, it's profitable. Very profitable.
Well, Sean, I just pray that your phone never, ever gets lost or stolen.
Me
or
too.
My poor grandson, he's fell in the toilet.
It's semi-waterproof.
So I really pray that it never gets lost.
I tell my students that. I say to my students, because one of the questions is part of a first aider's duty to collect the laptops and the cell phones of the victims and put them in a plastic bag. And the answer is obviously no. Your most priority is the victim. And I say, please, you see my face. If you come across me in an accident, you first find my cell phone. If my cell phone is found, you then wake me up. If my cell phone is gone, leave me to die because I can't live without my cell phone.
Sean, take your bag to Bloem, even if I have to carry it on my lap. You do that.
I will
Jenny,
make space for it.
I'm taking mine.
A lovely talk there. You know that one of the closes of the 13 that I read in the book there was Clouseau talk. And that's when Clouseau has that hang dog look, when he's lost the sort of deal and he's walking to the door. And then he says, he turns around and says, just ask me one more question. And he says, what did I do wrong? You know, I make a living out of this and I need to know what I did wrong. And the guy said, well, you did this and that was, and then he says, oh, didn't I tell you about that? And he's back in the fights again. Okay, but that's just another of the closes.
Anyone else like to contribute?
Just one more, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
My father was very used, he took us children prospecting. And this is for gold and different ore and minerals. The bushveld was full of minerals. And I often wondered where he should dig a reef or where he knew there might be gold. And it was just by looking at the samples on the ground. So he would, instead of picking up the sample and looking at, we look at people and ask them questions. And that's the same too. A rock that had no weight at all was called hungry. That rock is hungry, and he threw it in the bush where no one else could find it ever again. But if it was heavy, he said, this has got some potential. So this is when we start prospecting. Don't pick them up because they might take umbrage about that, but to see if they're light or if they're heavy. But if they've got a dream, if they've got something where they need to get done a goal or an ambition, then that's the one that we home in on and use all 13 closes. Thank you.
If they're negative, run.
No, don't hang around.
But often, even with that, I've learned over the years, both from work as well as from business, ask questions. Keep asking questions, but not just ask, listen. And listen not just with your ears. Look them in the eye and try and pick up from body language, because often the verbal answer isn't the answer. And you've got to almost read between the lines. And if you start to listen for the key words, that's where you pick up that gold.
Yeah, and with your listening, we found, especially John's very good at this. He talks leading questions. So he leads them to where he wants them to go. So it's not just a friendly chat, natter. In his natter, he leads them into something that we want to know about them. So yeah, it's quite a...
It's like a good lawyer.
Yeah.
And as it says in the last line there, remember our goal is education and understanding. We've got to educate the public out there because everybody knows the soap. But do they understand the difference between sunlight dishwashing liquid and LDC? All the pros and cons, the saving of the planet, the saving of their hands, the saving of their lungs, the saving of everything. Do they understand the cost? Not the value, not the price, the cost. Do they understand the cost of their soap that they've got in the basin? So that it's an ongoing education. And it's absolutely surprising that very, very, very few people, if any, that have never heard of golden products, they have not a cookie clue that there is products available out there that are non-toxic, non-caustic. That's 99% of the generation out there, of the population out there. I see it every week when I lecture. I have 14, 15, 16 people a week. And of those 14, 15, 16 people, nobody has ever thought that there is a non-toxic, non-caustic soap out there. And I say to them, are you aware of all the toxins in your house? Do you know that you can wash your skin, wash your teeth, wash your hair, wash your dishes, wash your dog, wash your floor with something that is not going to harm you or the environment? And they all say, no ways, there's no ways, you can't get anything like that. I said, well, if you want to have non-toxic, non-caustic stuff in your house, let me know and talk to me afterwards. And they said, no, well, tell us now. No, I'm not allowed to do that. Talk to me afterwards. And I get a few, I don't push it. I get a few of people that come to me afterwards and want to know more. But it's scary that everybody just accepts. We all like sheep and have followed the goats into the shops, and we just buy those products, and it's easy, it's cheap, and what the hang, we don't have time for all this other, we're just going to go in. So it's our responsibility to educate and educate the people to understand and put the knowledge out there.
And also just be careful though that, and I know I've got this problem at times, don't give too much information to someone who's not ready to hear it.
Mm.
No.
And that comes with listening.
Good advice.
Okay, good people. Well done, Jen. That was awesome. I missed the first half. Sorry. Sean's recording, I hope.
I'm going to put recording now.
I suddenly thought,